Here is your identification card. We are happy to welcome you to Tahiti.
Thanks, Inspector.
You have purchased the chandlery out on the point?
Yes, if you need any ship supplies, I hope you'll look me up.
Well, I imagine you will have my friend, Captain Troy, as a customer.
Well, I'd better. He's just about my closest friend. I'll be glad to see him again.
Indeed? I had no idea.
Tell me, has he been staying out of trouble?
Staying out of trouble?
Oh, you know how it is. Some of us can turn over a clean page, and some of us can't.
Captain Troy is one of our finest citizens.
There. It's men like Adam Troy that restore our faith in human nature. Man can be reclaimed. There is dignity in the human soul. Well, nice to meet you, Inspector.
You say you are a friend of Captain Troy.
Captain Adam Troy?
I'm the best friend he's got in the world, and he's mine. You might say that my biggest ambition in life is to see Adam Troy happily married.
Why?
Because I've made 4 trips to the altar while he laughed on the sidelines. Turnabout is fair play, isn't it, Inspector?
I've never seen the girl that could get Adam to the altar.
I'll let you know when I've got her picked out. See you in church, Inspector.
Gardner McKay in James A. Michener's Adventures in Paradise, with Guy Stockwell as Chris Parker and James Holden as Clay Baker. Guest star, Ray Walston. And starring Gardner McKay as Adam Troy.
Son of a gun. I heard you were in Tahiti.
Hey, ugly.
We're getting a little thin on top, aren't we, lover boy?
You're getting wrinkled.
You still have 3 ex-wives?
No, 4.
I thought you looked haggard. Well, what's all this? We give up the cargo plane?
Nellie? Her ticker gave out and I had to put her out to pasture. Hey, come on in.
Oh, I can't imagine you settling behind a counter.
Well, I've got 4 ex-wives to keep in alimony. 4?
Did you ever learn?
Well, I signed for the course 4 times. That's more than you've done.
Don't be bitter. Oh, by the way, we're taking a lady out to the airport. Want to join us?
Sure. Anyone I know?
No. A friend of mine from home.
How old?
Now, stop getting ideas.
Captain Troy, I saw your jeep outside.
Oh, hi, Louis. What's the problem?
Inspector Bouchard wishes to see you.
Oh, yeah? What does he want?
Well, Inspector Bouchard does not confide in me, but Monsieur McPheeney and Monsieur O'Toole were in his office.
Not again.
McPheeney and O'Toole? I haven't seen those old reprobates since Hong Kong. You go ahead. If you're worried about the young lady, I'll be delighted to fill in for you.
I imagine you will.
Don't you trust me?
After Hong Kong?
You shouldn't have rushed off. Lily was a beautiful girl.
I didn't want to marry her.
You never even met her.
Exactly. And you had no right to go to her father and arrange a marriage contract.
You were a rotten sport about the whole thing.
I'll be a rottener sport if you ever try anything like that again. Keys are in the Jeep. I'll ride with you, Louis.
Hey! What's her name?
Oh, yeah. Miss Claudine Miller. Pick her up at the Tahiti Hotel and meet me outside the police station. I know right now I'll regret this.
I don't understand you. I'm your best friend. All I want is to see you married before I die.
If that's why you came to Tahiti, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Face it, chum. You can't remain Huckleberry Finn forever. Miss Miller?
Yes?
Mr. Troy's been delayed. I'm Frank Hoag, the relief man.
Oh, come in. Are you taking me to the airport?
No, we're meeting Adam in half an hour. I understand you're from Massachusetts. You came a long way in such a short visit.
Didn't seem too far for a weekend in paradise.
You've been reading travel folders.
No. Adam's letters. Every bit as beautiful as he said it was.
If Adam's been writing to you, you must be someone very special.
No. I'm afraid I was just the girl next door.
Just the girl next door. Don't sell that short. Every red-blooded American youth always has a special feeling for the girl next door.
Adam doesn't.
Of course he does. He's just a little shy. Why don't you stay a little longer? I'm sure Adam would be delighted.
He hasn't said so.
Miss Miller, I think you and I ought to have a long, serious talk about it.
I asked you to come over here, Adam, because you are the one who persuaded me to let these rascals land on Tahiti.
They're old pals, aren't they? What's the matter, Interval?
How do they live? Just tell me that.
We do our jobs.
As you know, Monsieur O'Toole comes here with a reputation as a very bad pickpocket.
Bad? I was one of the best.
I wouldn't dwell on that.
I'm quite familiar with your record. Also, the accomplishments of Monsieur McPheeney in the field of forgery. And there have been a rush of petty crimes ever since you two landed on Tahiti.
Petty crimes?
Petty crimes is for amateurs.
Would you accuse Picasso of painting a billboard?
I thought you claimed to have retired.
Well, we did. We degenerated. And a decent, law-abiding citizens leading decent, law-abiding lives.
Aye, in spite of being constantly harassed and persecuted by the law.
Are there any charges, Inspector?
No, confound them. I haven't any evidence.
False arrest.
You were not arrested. You were brought in for questioning. I want you to be aware I'm not as blind as they would like to think I am. You keep your eyes on your friends, Adam. You are their sponsor.
I know, and I will. Listen, I hate to cut this short, Inspector. I'd like to stand and chat with you all day about this, but I've got to put a lady on the 12 o'clock plane.
All right, all right. Take these gentlemen with you before the butter melts in their mouths.
Goodbye. Well, what are you trying to do, Frank? Miss the plane for us?
I have a safe driving medal. Can you say as much?
Frank, McPheeney, and O'Toole and I are old chums. Whenever Frank used to hit town, I always knew I was in for some kind of trouble.
Aye, usually female.
Usually female, but we've all calmed down a little since then, I think.
How nice.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
She's crying because she's so happy to be leaving.
Hey, Claudine, are you crying?
Of course not. I just have something in my eye.
Oh.
You mean something like a tear? Don't you worry about a thing.
Mrs. McPheeney used to cry when she thought I didn't understand her.
More likely she cried because she thought you did. Women are devious.
You sound as though you didn't like women.
I adore them until I married them.
Well, Mrs. McPheeney was unlike any other woman in the world. And when she died, I retired the name.
I should have retired mine before I started passing it out. My trouble is I'm a compulsive loser. Oh, well. As the man said, 'tis better to have loved and lost than never to have lost at all.
There's never been a Mrs. O'Toole.
What are you doing back so soon? Where's Claudine?
Well, she's on that plane. Where do you think? Oh, look, you guys, I'm sailing after lunch, and I'll need some supplies from your dump. Let's go.
Was she still crying?
Well, sure. Some women always cry at airports.
You're putting us on.
Not at all.
You know very well that young woman's in love with you, and you've broken her heart.
It's a nice try, Frank. But Claudine's engaged to a fellow named George Bevins. I hope we get this junk on the ship, will you?
She didn't come all the way to Tahiti to see anybody named George Bevins.
She came all the way to Tahiti to tell me about a fellow named George Bevins.
You're putting me on.
Now, don't put me on. She's going to marry George.
I hope George is broad-minded.
Oh, lay off that stuff, will you?
And then there's a family. Where have you been, darling daughter? Oh, I cannot tell a lie, Mother. I spent the weekend with Adam Troy. And
Now, that's not even funny.
I don't think they'll think so either.
Look, Claudine and I were neighbors, buddies.
I was supposed to love our neighbors, but within bounds.
And I don't think they'll consider Tahiti within bounds.
Ah, yes, the poor little girl.
Oh, I've got a fine bunch of friends, don't I? Saved you, too, from Inspector Bouchard this morning, and who loaned you the money to get out of Hong Kong?
As you say, she loves George.
Aye, George is a fine fella. The best.
And there never was anything between Claudine and I, and there's never gonna be anything between Claudine and I.
Are we still going to sail today?
Yes, we're still gonna sail today.
Aye, aye, Captain.
And the sooner the better.
I've never seen Adam so crotchety. Aye, he needs a woman's gentle influence.
He certainly does.
You sound like you did in Hong Kong when you had that idea about Lily.
I've been waiing for years to settle that score.
Ah, what score? All Adam did was to put out to sea.
You forget who married Lily.
Oh, aye. I had forgotten. Hong Kong Hoag. You better watch your step, Frank. There might be a fifth Mrs. Hoag.
No, not this time. This time, there's going to be a first Mrs. Troy. Mrs. Adam Troy.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Louis.
I was in the post office, so I brought the mail for you and for the ticket. She's due in this morning.
Thanks. Would you mind dropping off my alimony payments on your way back?
1, 2, 3, 4.
An American male subsidizes an ex-wife until she traps another man. From Claudine Miller, from Claudine Miller, from Claudine Miller. And he's trying to tell me she wants George.
You can't see anything. The envelope is too thick. Will you tell Captain Troy Inspector Bouchard would like to see him at his earliest convenience?
Does he want this time?
Oh, welcome back from the briny.
Oh, chum.
You have 3 letters from Claudine.
Oh, yeah? Claudine who?
You have more than one?
But yes.
Oh, sometimes you are very French, monsieur. I envy you your youth. I will tell Inspector Bouchard you have returned.
Well, you tell him to stop breathing down my neck. I just made harbor. Goodbye.
What's new from George?
You mean you haven't steamed him yet?
I haven't had time.
Dear Adam, thank you for being so nice to me on a recent visit. It was wonderful seeing you again after all these years. You haven't changed a bit.
Once a dumbhead, always a dumbhead.
Tahiti is wonderful. You're wonderful. I had a wonderful time.
That's why I cried all the way back to the airport.
It doesn't say anything about that.
You're not reading between the lines. When it comes to women, I graduated magna cum laude.
Well, why don't you hold classes or something?
There's an idea. I might get some return on my wrinkles.
You know, you're pretty much an idiot, but I think you're a funny guy.
You better get down to see Inspector Bouchard. He's not in a very good humor these days.
Really? What's up?
Evidently, there's been an epidemic of, naughtiness.
This time I have evidence.
McPheeney. O'Toole.
We were just lonesome. Oh, our old friends say, go talk to your friends, the gendarmes. And how can you talk to a gendarme?
We were social outcasts.
You needed togetherness.
And the devil always finds work for idle hands.
Some of us can't be so fortunate as to be born good like you. Or you.
McPheeney forged a check.
McPheeney.
Okay, well, for such a small amount, it's hardly worth mentioning.
I just lifted a few francs.
O'Toole.
Well, you'd think it was 1,000 the fuss is making.
1 or 1,000, it's still a criminal offense.
Deny I took it from someone who could spare it.
Whether I could spare it is completely beside the point.
You didn't pick Inspector Bouchard's pocket, did you?
I thought he had a sense of humor.
Not about breaking the law.
Now he tells me.
Monsieur, this time you are caught dead to rights and you are going to the penal colony at Noumea.
We meant no harm.
Inspector, don't throw us in the dungeon over a wee joke.
Marcel,
Absolutely not.
if you could see your way clear to just...
The pitcher that goes too often to the well is at last broken. And that is me, the broken pitcher.
Inspector, we'll give you our word of honor.
Your what?
Listen, Marcel, they didn't mean any harm. It was just a small prank.
That's all it was. We'll never do it again.
Aye, we'll take the pledge. Crime does not pay.
No practical jokes.
I am resolved not to stop.
I happen to know that you can laugh at a joke as well as I can.
When I have not seen you laugh so uproariously when the joke is on you.
I would.
Indeed. Well, there is one way I will consider turning them loose again, and that is if you personally take full responsibility for them.
Me? Well, I'm not always around to watch them.
But dear boy, they have taken the pledge. You heard them. Criminals Anonymous.
Aye. Trust us, laddie. Trust us. We'd die for you.
How can I refuse?
Take it from me, laddie. You will live to regret it.
No, I won't. They're going to be rehabilitated. Now look at me. When you boys are through, you will know you've done an honest day's work. What's this?
Legally speaking, laddie, we're in durance vile.
Slave labor.
Adam's not himself anymore.
I know. You're edgy and unhappy without quite knowing why, aren't you, chum?
I am edgy and unhappy, and I know exactly why.
Well, you've lost your appetite, and you don't sleep too well at night, do you?
I sleep perfectly well, thank you.
No, it's impossible to sleep when you're in love.
In love, ha-ha.
Of course. That's why he's been brimming with meanness.
I am not brimming with meanness.
Bless his heart. He's in love.
I am not in love.
You don't know your own symptoms.
Look, Frank, I don't care what you may say or what you may do. I am not gonna be in love with Claudine.
Who said anything about Claudine?
You said Claudine.
You see how it is, laddie? The truth will out.
All right, you guys are through. Here's your money. But remember, Inspector Bouchard says that I'm responsible for you.
My hands feel like bread puddings.
Oh, so do mine. We'll soak him in oil tonight.
How would you like to do something to even things up with Adam?
Revenge is sweet, but freedom's sweeter.
Oh, I don't want you to do anything really dishonest. Just write a letter in Adam's handwriting and sign his name.
Well, do a dry run first.
Gloves?
Ever hear of fingerprints, laddie?
Use Adam's stationery.
No, I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be forging Adam.
He's going to be very angry.
Aye, that's true.
Make up your mind, McPheeney. I can get someone else, you know. Pemberley's in town.
Oh, an amateur could spot Pemberley's work.
Well, he's not emotionally involved.
I'm not emotionally involved. Adam was a good friend when he was one. But Adam isn't what he was anymore.
He changed his spots.
Now, I did like the young lady. She favored Mrs. McPheeney around the eyes.
Yes or no, McPheeney?
Yes, it's for his own good. And if he can't see that for himself, then someone else must see it for him. Fire away.
My darling Claudine.
My darling Claudine.
I have been thinking about you ever since you got on that plane. I can't understand why I was fool enough to let you get on. My very dear, could you possibly entertain the thought of marrying me?
Now, back to Adventures in Paradise.
I couldn't believe it. But I must have believed it, because here I am. Do you know what I did when I read your letter? I got so excited I started to cry, and I got tears all over it. Adam, you haven't kissed me yet. I called right up for a plane reservation, and I left that very same night. I've been in the air more than I've been on the ground the last week. But why not? My head's in the clouds. Please kiss me, Adam. I'm so happy. I'm so happy, Adam. Are you as happy as I am?
No, I mean, yes. I mean, this isn't making any sense to me.
I know. It didn't me either. Every once in a while on the plane down here, I said to myself, it isn't true. It didn't happen. I didn't read what I thought I read. Then I'd read your letter again, and I'd be right back in the clouds.
May I?
Don't you remember what you wrote?
Not exactly.
Oh, no, you don't. I'm keeping this letter for as long as I live.
Claudine.
Yes, Adam?
There's something I have to tell you. But I'll tell you later.
He's gone. All right, O'Toole. Operation Pickpocket.
It isn't funny.
I cannot think when I have enjoyed anything so much.
I want him arrested.
Why? It is a prank. They meant no harm.
They wrote a proposal of marriage in my handwriting and signed my name.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Will you stop laughing and send out a warrant for their arrest?
Well, where is the evidence?
Evidence? Huh?
I cannot arrest them without the evidence.
Dungeon.
Claudine.
I'll be right there.
Hi, honey. I need that. I need that letter. Don't ask me to explain now.
Of course, darling. Will I get it back?
If you want it back.
You know I do. It's gone. It was in my coat pocket.
Well, maybe you left it around here somewhere else.
No, I put it here.
Has anybody else been in here with you?
I've been in here myself. I took a bath and a nap.
Was that window open?
I don't remember.
Oh, I wouldn't leave valuables like this lying around. I'll be back.
Where are you going?
To break down a door.
Well, what's new, chum?
You know exactly what's new. And you know that I know that you know exactly what's new.
Hey, would you mind running through that again?
There's only one mind in this world that could have conceived of such a plan. Only one pair of hands that could have written that letter. Only one pair of hands that could have stolen that letter. And when I get my hands on those hands, I'm going to tear them off at the wrists. At the wrists!
You're in a state, friend. You got to keep cool in the tropics. You're not making sense.
Where's McPheeney and O'Toole? Who? You heard me!
O'Feel and McTooney?
It's no time to be funny. Where are they?
Well, now, they're your responsibility. If you've mislaid them, it's hardly fair to come yelling at me.
I don't know what keeps me from killing you.
Well, for starters, shall we say the law?
Do you know that Claudine came all the way down here from Massachusetts to get married?
To George?
No, she didn't come down here from Massachusetts to marry George.
There's nothing wrong with my hearing, chum.
She came here to marry me!
Congratulations. Count on me for a pair of silver candlesticks.
Where's McPheeney and O'Toole?
I don't know, but if they come in, I'll tell them that you were asking for them.
All right, it's gone far enough. You've got to tell them what you did.
I don't dig you, chum.
What am I going to say to her?
Oh, I'm afraid I can't help you there. Every man and maid have to find their own communication system.
You know I didn't write that letter.
Didn't you?
All right, I'll tell her myself.
I'll see you in church.
We were the only people in the world.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you someplace where we could be completely alone. You know, privacy isn't always so easy to find on an island.
How beautiful everything is. Oh, surely it wasn't this beautiful a few days ago.
I suppose you're wondering why I was gone so much today.
No, Adam.
You haven't been wondering?
I know you're busy, and I arrived without any warning.
There's something I've got to explain to you.
You don't have to explain anything to me, Adam. I'm not going to be one of those nagging wives who wants to know where her husband is every hour. Do you know what Mother said when she read your letter?
What?
She said, "My, aren't you a lucky girl?" And Daddy said he couldn't have wished anything better for me.
Yeah, what did George say?
George was perfectly wonderful. He said, "I guess the best man won."
Well, that's not putting up much of a fight.
George says people must marry for love. And that if I love you, he has no right to stand in the way.
There's something I have to tell you.
Yes, Adam?
I'll tell you tonight. What would you like to have for dinner tonight? French food? Tahitian food? Chinese food?
Doesn't matter. Dance with me, Adam.
Now, didn't I once tell you a lady always waits to be asked? Okay.
You did. But I was only 10. And very cynical. I knew you were saying it just to keep him dancing with me.
Well, I had to dance with you.
Had to?
Your mother made me.
What?
50 cents an hour to teach you how to dance.
Gigolo.
No, it was hard work. Mowing lawns was 50 cents an hour, and that was easier. But you know, you've improved. I mean, you used to spend most of your time dancing on top of my feet.
Then you think you've done a good job?
Well, I think somebody has.
I cried when you went away to college. I was jealous of all the girls you were going to meet.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you asked me to marry you when you were, 13.
I knew that was a terrible disadvantage, but I was desperate. Do you know what your answer was?
Something salty, no doubt.
Oh, no. You said, if you still feel the same way when you go away to school, ask me again. And now here we are. And I didn't have to ask you. It all came true. Adam, what did you want to tell me?
Tomorrow. Now, to hit you right in the face.
Sure.
Why did you marry her?
Who?
Lily.
Well, her father was willing to settle for second best. As a matter of fact, he insisted on it.
Didn't you love her?
I became very, very fond of Lily in time.
Have you ever been in love?
Many times.
How did you know?
A man knows he's in love when a woman tells him.
That's nothing to kid about. Oh, hello, O'Toole. Hello, McPheeney.
You said today we simply had to have a long, serious talk, and you haven't said a single word.
But I've been thinking. You know, for about 4 or 5 years, my life's been a ship at the sea.
I know.
And what's yours been?
Growing up, getting educated, getting launched in society.
Yeah. Well, when you came down there a couple of weeks ago, why did you come down?
George asked me to marry him, and I found myself unable to answer yes or no without seeing you again. You see, when a girl grows up with one idea in her mind, she has to find out whether she's in love with a reality or in love with a romantic figure she's made of herself.
If you hadn't gotten that letter from me, would you have married George?
I don't know. But I think it would have been very unfair to George if I had.
Well, I'm happy you're here. You hear me? I'm happy you're here.
Dear George.
George?
Dear George.
In Adam's handwriting?
You saw how he looked when he came in the bar last night. He was desperate. We got him into this, and we're going to get him out of it.
Well, you're the last man I thought would ever develop a conscience.
Oh, I'm surprised myself. But I felt sorry for Adam last night. He looked as though he'd gone into shock. Start writing, McPheeney.
Dear George.
The more time I spend with Claudine, the more I realize you're the man for her. She needs someone who goes to work in the morning and comes home at night. And I am a wanderer.
Bring over about a dozen Navy grogs. This is going to be a party.
Hey, what's the happy occasion?
Claudine and I are engaged.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that.
What did you say?
You old matchmaker, you knew my mind better than I did. Ha ha. And so did my old chums.
You're not angry any longer, laddie?
Angry? You've made me a very happy man.
Have we?
I hear congratulations are in order.
Little surprised, aren't you?
Well, surprised is hardly the word.
We're a little surprised ourselves.
The letter.
We took it to the plane, just like you said.
We'll get it back.
But the plane's already gone. We watched it take off.
What's wrong?
Adam wants to marry Claudine.
He wants to get married.
Look at him.
You're a troublemaker.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Gentlemen, to love.
Mrs. Adam Troy. Oh, what a lovely name. I'm going to have it printed on stationery, monogrammed on sheet, engraved on silver. Mrs. Adam Troy. Me.
Sound like a little girl playing house.
I've known you all my life, and yet I've so much to learn about you. Are you early American or contemporary?
Well, do I have to be one or the other?
Most marriages start out one way or the other.
Well, I'm an early schooner.
All right. I'll do our whole house like a ship.
No. No, a ship can't be landlocked.
But I want you to have a house where you feel at home.
Well, honey, I haven't been in too many houses the past few years. I mean, there aren't any walls at sea.
Ships have walls?
No, they don't. Ships have bulkheads. If you're going to be a captain's wife, you're going to have to start learning the terms.
Aye, aye, sir. Floors aren't floors, they're decks.
Right.
You don't go down this stairway, you go down the companionway.
Mm-hmm.
You look out the porthole.
Mm-hmm.
And you open that door.
Door.
How'd they happen to allow that landlubber's word on board?
Yeah.
It's all another world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Adam, I'm afraid I have to go up the companionway.
What's wrong?
Everything's going up and down.
You're not seasick.
I'm afraid I am.
But, darling, we're tied up to the dock. Now, you keep your mouth shut about this.
What's it worth to you?
You heard me.
Oh, the wife of a sailor, his true love must be. Yo-ho, blows a man down. A sailor gets married, he still goes to sea. Give me some time to blow the man down.
Here's something that'll interest you.
Well, this cable is addressed to Claudine.
Well, since when did we begin standing on formalities?
You'll find the contents of great interest, laddie.
It's from George.
Oh, well, then it's really for me.
Well, how do you feel?
Fine. I'm sorry, Adam. I should have taken a motion sickness pill yesterday.
Oh, that's okay. I guess you'll never like the tiki.
Oh, the tiki's lovely. I suppose she is perfectly safe.
Of course.
Well, I'm sure she must be. It's just that I've never been out a really old boat before.
A ship.
Oh, I thought when they were small, they were boats.
The tiki displaces 73 tons. She's 85 feet along the deck. She's a two-masted schooner, carries 6 passengers, 4 crewmen, and makes 7 knots in a good breeze. She's not small.
It's wonderful. I mean, that's really wonderful.
And she's seaworthy.
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Oh, that's all right.
I don't know much about sailing. I get seasick on a ferry ship.
Yeah, ferry boat. Ferries are not ships.
Boat, ships, boat. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, it's kind of a pity. I was looking forward to taking you out on the tiki one day.
Oh, I'll go. All I have to do is take a pill every 4 hours and I'll be able to stand it.
Yeah, but see, that's no way to go to sea. I mean, on pills, you either like it or you don't.
I got a long letter from Mother. She wants to know when we're coming home. And Daddy wants you to work with him.
In Massachusetts?
But that's where Daddy lives, darling.
Yes, but darling, I live here.
But the factory's in Massachusetts.
I thought you liked Tahiti.
Well, I love Tahiti. It's a beautiful place to visit.
But you wouldn't want to live here.
All the time.
It's been done?
Let's be fair about it, Adam. I mean, neither one of us wants to bully the other. Let's spend the winters in Massachusetts and the summers in Tahiti. That's fair, isn't it?
What am I going to do with the old tiki, huh? Sell her?
No, of course not. It'll be wonderful for outings when it's all painted and fixed up.
Outings?
I have an appointment to have my hair done. I'll see you at the hotel later. They say there's always a period of readjustment, that no two people are born into the world understanding each other.
I know.
I just naturally assumed that you wanted to live part of the time in Massachusetts.
I never even gave it a thought. I guess we're both pretty dense, huh?
I guess so. Well, it'll work out. Don't worry.
I hope you're in a better humor than you sound.
I'm not.
Well, a short life, but a merry one. Chum, I'm afraid I've got you in a little hot water, and seems to me the best thing to do is to make a clean breast of things.
Yeah?
Well, I've sent for George.
George who?
George Bevins.
Huh? Why?
Well, I thought that you wanted out of things with Claudine, and it seemed to me the best thing to do was to get good old George down here. So I had McPheeney write him a letter in your handwriting.
Will you stand still?
Well, I'm just trying to keep out of striking range.
All right, what did you say to George in my handwriting?
Well, I said, speaking for you, that Claudine was the kind of a girl who wanted a house in the suburbs, and that George seemed to be the kind of a man who wanted a girl who wanted a house in the suburbs, and that you were a seafaring man who couldn't even stand a port in the suburbs.
Go on!
Well, that was just about it, except that you suggested that he get the next plane down here and talk some sense into Claudine and take her back where she belongs.
He thinks I wrote that letter?
He must. I've just found out he's on the 12 o'clock plane.
He's coming down here. Actually thinking that I'll step aside so that he can marry Claudine?
Yes.
Good.
Good?
Good! Now you keep out of this! You, the more I realize how happy she'd be. Now look, I'm happier here. I can talk to her and make her feel as if she's doing the right thing. Go to the hotel.
George!
Lucky man, George.
I know. And I've got to say, you've been darn decent about the whole thing.
Not at all. I think the important thing here is Claudine's happiness.
I hope I didn't hurt you, Adam.
Well, I'll muddle through. You know, we never really could have been happy with George's ghost standing between us.
Well, I hate to break this up, but if we're going to catch our plane...
Just a second. I wanted to tell you that I don't think there's ever been a nicer girl next door.
You'll always be my first love, Adam.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Mr. O'Toole, Mr. McPheeney. Goodbye, Frank.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good luck. They make a very handsome couple. I'm glad we got them together.
I told you she loved George.
Well, she's got him.
Fine young man, George. Aye, the best.
And I told you she didn't love me.
Okay, you were right.
And there was never anything between us except what you cooked up, smart boy.
So shoot me.
All right. I was right all the time, wasn't I?
You're out of it, aren't you? What's the matter with you?
I guess I miss her.
Where are you going?
Back to sea.
Bon voyage. We'll find him another wife. To the first Mrs. Troy, wherever you may be.
Now, Gardner McKay.
In our next Adventures in Paradise, you'll see a South Seas con man actually practice the ancient art of separating people from their money.
He couldn't have done it, not to me. Not after all we've been through. Uncle Phil was even going to take him into the business. A wonderful little numbers game in Jersey City.
Hello, Charlie.
If you'll excuse me, Mr. Troy, I don't have time to speak.
Sit down, Charlie.
Now, look, Troy, now, look, if you think you're going to make any trouble now, forget it. Everything I did was perfectly legal.
It can't be.
It is.
It's nothing but
A rock. A worthless rock. Do you have a Cornelius Cornthwaite registered here?
No, ma'am.
Reginald Rosencrantz?
No, ma'am.
Phineas Washington Jones?
No, ma'am.
Johann Sebastian Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah.
He's killed himself. Mr. Bale! Charlie! Charlie! Charlie!
Ow!
Oh,
Ow!
oh Charlie! Oh.
I hope you'll be with us when guest stars Larry Blyden, Constance Ford, and Patricia Breslin join me in a story we call The Dream Merchant, next on Adventures in Paradise. Until then, thank you for watching.
What makes a woman beautiful?